Me in the chat, taking on the fight. Windows computer issues, we gonna make it right. Got that brilliant tech advice, 6-day a week. Yeah, we gonna help solve it all. No need to ignite.
Good morning. It is 9 a.m. July 2nd, 2024 on a Tuesday. Yes, indeed. Oh, where to? Oh, I know where to begin. Let's go. Channel comments. Chris Garrett put in a comment shortly before showtime. Well, an hour before showtime. You know, oops. Okay, thank you. I just turned on speaker bot. I heard that. You didn't. You know, I still use CDs and DVDs. Of course I know that. No, I didn't know that. That is why I am still using my HP Elite 8300 CMT business model. It has standard size DVD audio. My Dell XPS 8930 from 2019 has a laptop style optical drive. Oh, well, that is a laptop, I think. I hated Dell, and HP did that. And back when Dell stopped selling floppy drives, I did not like it. I did not like it. I did not like it. I do still have USB floppy. Acoustically, 2 of them. Wait, what? I do have a USB floppy drive, acoustically 2 of them. I'm going to take some guesses here. I think he's using speech to text. So the way speech to text got it wrong, Chris didn't get it wrong. I do still have a USB floppy drive attached to of them. I do have a USB floppy drive attached to 2 of them. I do have a floppy drive, whatever. Chris, I'm curious what you actually said and how it misinterpreted you. And I think Chris has actually a question in chat. Questions in chat and questions on channel comments and emails would always take priority over what Doug has lined up. Oh, but I gotta go.
Chris Garrett said, actually 2 of them.
Actually 2 of them is what he said. I do still have a USB floppy drive, actually 2 of them.
Live said from the phone.
And Ken, yes, it's from the phone. Ken, do you know what you said wrong? Do you know? You're using big words here. Do you know which word in that is wrong? I don't think it's what you meant. Does anyone else want to put into
LJ said
chat?
Took away floppy disk for USB drives. I saw the change.
Alice took away floppy disk for USB drives. I saw the change.
Israel said delegated.
When HP...
Ken Stout Live said all of them?
No, I don't think that's what he meant, Ran. I think there's a better word for that. Let's see. Alice was saying... let's see. Yeah, I think she's referring to when HP and Dell took away floppy disk drives in exchange for doing USB drives. She saw the change. I don't think it's delegated. I don't think it's demoted.
Demoted?
I think the better word... And then, is anyone else going to come up with what I think is the better word? I'm kind of surprised. Wait a minute, what? I just learned Albert Einstein was a real person
Chris
this
Garrett
whole
said,
time.
Can I hook a USB-C adapter from my USB floppy drive and connect to my phone?
I thought he was just a theoretical
Brian Lightfoot
physicist.
said Lorna does regulate Ken.
Regulate. No, that's still not what I think is the right word. Chris, can I hook a USB-C adapter for my USB floppy drive and connect to my phone? Well, that's interesting because, yeah, you could get a cable that'll connect to your phone's charging port. And if you connected it to a USB floppy drive, could you connect it? You know what? Well, I don't know. I would. It kind of thing seems to me that it might be. There might be a.
LJ said, "See chat, please."
There might be a CD drive out there or a floppy drive that is compatible with mobile devices. And in that case, would your phone's operating system, because it's also designed to be used on a tablet, be able to exchange files with it? I guess it could be. Let's see what Alice said. See chat, please. PC Mag. PC Mag. Where's that one coming up at? Here. From floppies to solid state, the evolution of PC storage media. Since the dawn, This is a long story here, showing the evolution, starting with a 5.25-inch floppy disk drive. Yeah, my first computer had 2 of those.
Chris Garrett said, that is a project I should try.
Let's do uBlock Origin on that page. I don't think there's anything specific. She's just giving me that link. So still nobody has come up with what word I think should be there. Demoted, delegated? No. I've been relegated to my phone.
Brian Lightfoot said relegate.
There you go, Brian Lightfoot, of course. Relegated to my phone. That would be the most appropriate 4-syllable word. Of course, when Ken tries to use a 4-syllable word, it's open target, open field, open something on Ken Stout. See, I got that. I can't think of that word. So there. But Chris had a question in here. Let's see. There was some chit chat going along. John Williams, like the trader. There's
Brian Lightfoot said no. Ken was actually regulated by Lorna.
Regulated. Okay, because she determined. Regulated means she's going to regulate him. She's going to tell him what to do. Relegated. I don't know. What's a good way to define that? I'm not going to try to do that now because I'm trying to get to Chris's question. I have dual monitors. When I move the mouse to the left, the cursor comes on the right screen. Something went wrong. It used
Chris
to be
Garrett
the
said
other
at
way around.
LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts that ran Israel told me how to fix my issue.
All right. Well, I'll show it for everybody else. I'm moving the mouse up here to the desktop area. Little tiny corner peek.
Ken Stout
peek
Live
of
said it is the Indiana accent.
And then go to display settings. And then here's your arrangement of your multiple monitors. So what you can do is just drag your monitors to the way that you want them to be able to, you want your mouse to flow between them, and then click apply. I'm going to click cancel because I don't want to change the way my monitors are lined up. Thanks for letting me know, Chris, that Ran Israel already gave you the solution to that, which is in there somewhere. Those are not repeating bot messages. They'll only come in once. I don't have to turn them off again. Were there other questions? I don't know. There's too much in there for me to read through to pull out if there's actual question in there, because I need to go tell you a story. It's story time. Hey, Doug, what did you do yesterday with your BIOS update and your management engine update? Did it go okay? Well, there was a glitch. Because the link that came up in chat yesterday took us to the wrong manual and the wrong firmware update. And I have come across this before, so I recognized it pretty quickly. I did go ahead and set up the USB drive with this driver. And I particularly noted that, let's see, it says somewhere in the instructions, well, there was somewhere in the instructions that, in the manual, when you get to the actual page of the manual, where it says that when you press the button to do the update, you got to put the USB drive in the right port. There's a USB port on the back of the computer that is labeled for BIOS. You put it in there with that particular file in there, and you have to rename the file.
John Williams said, did you move the M2 NVMe to the top DIMM slot?
Okay, let me come back to your question later, John. finish the update story. So there was a utility that downloaded with that you run the utility to rename the file to the name that they want, and then copy that to the root level of the USB drive. It's not going to be a bootable drive. You just put it on the root level of that drive, and I have a drive labeled BIOS, which I use for that purpose. And I did do some cell phone video, but I don't really have it set up. So I put it in, shut the computer down, press the button for doing the update. You're supposed to hold it down for 3 seconds till it starts flashing. It started flashing, and then it went solid. And the manual says if it goes solid, that means there's a problem. It's not going right. So I kind of had a notion already what was wrong. And in fact, I tried to head it off of the pass because I didn't think that that was the right manual. My motherboard is actually Asus. Thank you very much. Yes, I know. Asus ROG Rampage 6 Extreme Encore. That word Encore needs to be at the end of this. Now, when I go around searching through their website, it's hard to find. It seems to be buried somewhere, but I had a link saved somewhere else where I had it, where I had the right manual. But anyway, it says Encore on the end. And when you go to the BIOS firmware, it is actually a different BIOS. So I downloaded that one, put it onto the right place. That rename utility assigns a different name than it does for the non-Encore motherboard. Put that in the slot, shut the computer down, press the button, starts flashing, and then I've got cell phone video of this, but again,
Ran
just don't
Israel
have it
said,
set
I
up.
believe the procedure you're describing is meant for emergency recovery after a bad BIOS update, not meant for a working system.
No, Ran, actually, the manual instructs this is the way to do the BIOS upgrade. This is the way to do a BIOS update. This is not for recovery. There is another button, I think, on the motherboard for restore BIOS, something like that. Then Greg M, the reason for renaming the file is that's the instructions. I suppose because if they had the file named the way it's supposed to be, maybe download systems would block a file that has that particular name, but that was the instructions in the manual. So anyway, that worked. I went and verified that the correct version currently exists on Big Beast Build. So the update was successful, and I have this, let's see, I think, I actually put the link in here in my Windows Daily, so it'll be easier to get to. See there, you got the word Encore on the end of it. And some reason it's just difficult to find if you just go onto their website and search for ROG Rampage 6 Extreme Encore. I couldn't find it that way. I didn't go extensively on it because I knew I had the link somewhere else, and I went and grabbed that, and all is good. So if I do BIOS update, just to go show those instructions that this is not a recovery procedure. BIOS update utility. Flashback allows you to easily update the BIOS without entering the existing BIOS or operating system. So it's not supposed to be done from the BIOS screen or the operating system, which some motherboards, that's the way you do it. Simply insert a USB storage device to the USB port, the port hole marked in green. Why don't you make that bigger, Doug? Doug. Then press the BIOS flashback button for 3 seconds to automatically update the BIOS. This is the procedure. So anytime you're doing an update for BIOS, you ought to be, unless you're really, really expert and routine with this, go look at the instructions. How do they want it done? So this correct one is named...
Ran Israel said that's what I meant. This is the emergency procedure.
That's what I meant. This is the emergency procedure. No, this isn't the emergency procedure. This is the update for BIOS. This is the regular procedure. This is the only procedure for updating your BIOS. Rename the file. The other one, the one without Encore, is R6E. Okay, well, that kind of makes sense. ROG 6, because it's Roman numeral 6. Encore Extreme has the 2 E's. So when I had the wrong file name, because it was the wrong BIOS, I got that solid light. Shut down your computer, press the BIOS flashback button for 3 seconds until the flashback LED blinks 3 times, indicating the BIOS flashback function is enabled. Wait until the light goes out, indicating BIOS updating is completed. For more BIOS update utilities and BIOS setup, refer to such and such. Do not unplug it. If the light flashes for 5 seconds and turns into a solid light, which is what happened the first time around, this means that the BIOS flashback is not operating properly. This may be caused by improper installation of the USB storage device and file format error. If this scenario happens, please restart the system to turn off the light. May have risks. Yada, yada, yada. All right. So was there more? Oh, yes. I want to respond to somebody's question in there about moving. Let's see. That was the dual monitors. Where was the question about moving it? Who was that? Oh, it was a speaker bot. Yeah, no, not emergencies. And Israel told me I'll fix my issue. It was after that. Oh, did you move the M.2 NVMe to the top DIMM slot? Okay, a couple things about that. I think what you're really asking, did I move the NVMe from the DIMM.2 slot to a M.2 slot, primary M.2 slot? I can't move it to any other DIMM slot. DIMM slots are for RAM memory. That DIMM.2 slot is specifically for a riser card that allows you to install M.2 storage devices there. The only other place for me to move it to, which I have not done yet, but I intend to, is to move it from this DIMM.2 slot on that expansion board to the primary M.2 slot on the motherboard. It's not a DIMM slot. I have not done that yet. And I did do some searching about, let's see, how did I word that? Over here, this one. Come on, come up. Is it okay to use Asus DIMM.2 expansion card for the boot drive? And I got some responses, and I went and read the responses.
Ran Israel said, look at section 3.11 in your manual. This is the primary BIOS update method.
Are you still going to are you going to school me? All right, we'll get there. We'll get there. And I found over here people getting hot with each other, arguing this back and forth, whether that's okay or not. Now, let's go see what you're saying. 3.11 in your manual. He's still holding that I've got it wrong. Let's see. Section 3.11. Okay, Control F, 3.11. Got 8 hits for that. Updating BIOS.
Ran Israel said should be page 98 in the PDF.
All right, here we go. It's page 98. Asus website publishes the latest BIOS versions, enhancements, BIOS updating, potentially risk. There's no problem using the current BIOS version. Jeez. Do not manually update. Inappropriate BIOS updating. Oh, there's no problem. Do not manually update the BIOS. Inappropriate BIOS updating may result to systems failure to boot. Carefully follow instructions in this chapter. Easy update in Windows environment. Asus Flash 3 updates BIOS using a USB flash drive. Asus Crash-Free BIOS 3 restores BIOS using the motherboard support USB drive. Easy update. Utility allows you to update. Update utility. Interesting. Interesting. All right. So updating BIOS. Now my recollection is the way that I went to this, and I can't swear to this, I think I said BIOS update. Find BIOS update utility 217. And then, so then I think I went to 217 and found, here's 217. You do not And did I find this? BIOS, otherwise let's may have risk. Light flashes 5 seconds. Yeah, so this is the one using the light. So that's how I got to that place. How should I have done differently? BIOS update. Without reading the whole manual. BIOS update, that seems like an obvious thing. Let's see.
RAN Israel said in section 3.11, your method is listed as option 3. Clearly states that's it's meant for emergencies.
3.11, update BIOS. Updating BIOS 3.11, 3-28. 3-28. Go again to 3-28. There's 3-28. Is it? That's easy update. So this is just scrolling up. So maybe I scroll down instead of up. I'll look back and say over here at chat in section 3.11.
Look up in that section of the print. For more BIOS update options, see chapter 3.
Okay, I can't go everywhere all at once. Give me a minute. In section 3, your method is listed as option 3, which clearly states meant for emergencies. Select view, that's not the option 3 he's referring to. Option 3. How about if I search for the words option 3? No. Give me some text that's specifically in that section that I can search for. Option 3. Oh, is this what you meant by option 3? Updating BIOS? Easy update. Easy flash. Crash free restores BIOS using motherboard and support USB drive when the BIOS file fails or gets corrupted. Okay. All right. I buy it. I'm with you. For my BIOS update options, I'll go grab
RAN Israel
that.
said yes, that's it.
That's it. Okay. And Greg M is saying search for this. For more BIOS options, which now that I see that, it makes complete sense that a button on the motherboard would be for emergencies. I didn't find that text. When I searched for what you said there to search for, that doesn't exist. Did you really type that in correctly? All right. The thing yesterday was management engine. The Intel management engine was what the ME was about. Okay, I don't have a chance at catching up with all the chat stuff. I do have a redirect set up for Kerry Holzman's show. I think I've caught up with all of that about the BIOS update. Of course, using the emergency recovery procedure still worked. It did work, but you shouldn't have to go to that point. I don't think there's anything there about Windows Update doing those BIOS updates with major manufacturer name computers that are not being used for custom builds. I've seen BIOS updates happen through Windows Update. I suspect that that is not desirable for custom builds because the manufacturer of the motherboard doesn't know what else you've done on that computer because it is a custom build. I have an explanation of why yesterday I thought my motherboard was Gigabyte. I was, my grandson and I were experimenting around with doing some sketches, and we were looking for something to sketch. I'll get to that in a minute. We were looking for things to sketch. We pulled out this box and we sketched this image here, and I just had, I said, okay, one of my boxes says Gigabyte. Well, that's my video card, not my motherboard. And that's how I got it in my head that it was Gigabyte. And you guys corrected me yesterday, that was Asus. Ran Israel wants me to read his message from 901. I spy with my not so little eye something on the desk. Oh yes, there's something else on the desk. If I move over a little bit, maybe this is what he was referring to, but there's also this. As part of this troubleshooting and simplifying things, and just because I recently talked about that, I wanted to remove 3 of my memory modules. So that big beast is currently running on 32 gigabytes of memory. No, you're a spammer. Not going to talk to you on the phone. No, not going to do it. Not going to do it. No, no, no. So here somewhere, if I go to memory.
Ran Israel said I meant the box, but that's actually more intriguing.
More intriguing, okay. Yeah, I got 32 gigabytes of memory I'm operating on with now. And one of the reasons why I was interested in doing that was to see if I see more activity with my swap file and or whatever that other file was called. So if I go here to disk activity, and it is sorted by descending order from the total column for disk activity. And that was a swap file and whatever the other one was called. And I don't, it was on the root of the C drive. So if I sort by file name, I should be able to find it if it has any current activity at all. No, on the root. Let's sort this the other way so that the higher ones are at the
Selden
top.
Ball said page file.
Page file, thank you. Yes, that's what I was after. Video files, that's a folder. Yes, I'm still not seeing any page file or I already forgot it. Swap file. And let's see how much memory I'm using. And I think on the memory tab, we can see here what virtual memory it's using. Let's see, here's a memory graph. Standby free 7 megabytes free, standby 16 gigabytes in use, this part in use. So I'm still not using anywhere near the amount of memory that I have currently available during a live stream. I think there's probably better ways for me. Oh, cached, available cache total swap. There's some place to see some other information that I think would be more on point. And I just don't know. Paged pool, non-paged pool. Does this have to do with, this is in the memory tab, paged and non-paged. I don't know if that is actually related to the swap file or the page file. Anyway, just mild curiosity. When I do Adobe Premiere work, I've seen up to 200, just under 200 gigabytes in use when I had the full 256 gigabytes of memory in place. So Adobe Premiere, if you give them memory, it will use it. Kerry Holzman's show, I've got it set up for redirect, and I love, well, extremely like his trailer. He's got a new, what I think is a new Suno song, and I can play this
on the scene,
because
brave and bold.
I can play this because it's not copyrighted music, and I know that because when I play Suno music during my live stream, I don't get copyright notices. I highly suggest you go listen to that because I like it, because I like the words that are used, which I think he must have written the words and done custom lyrics, and I like that I can hear the voice pronouncing the words, some of them that I can't, and it's a nice tune I like. That's my favorite of all the ones that I've seen on Kerry do. So yeah, let's see, what I didn't even pay attention to what he's talking about today. Let's see, investigating these mini PCs, code-named Wall Street, Canyon, and the Simply Nook Onyx. So he's investigating those. Suno and Udio are being sued by RIAA. Yes, I heard that. I did hear that news piece. Selden Ball just said that in chat. Oh, I had a whole bunch of other things lined up to potentially talk about. Did not get around to it. Let's see, talked about that. After the show yesterday, I saw a couple chat messages that I captured. Danielle Emberley saying she swapped out her 5-volt USB charger that feeds power to her Shite DAC for another charger. No problems using Toslink optical. Since doing that yesterday, too early to see if that really resolved the problem. I feel like I did say that yesterday. Maybe I just put it in here to remind myself. Did we get any follow-up on that? I don't recollect seeing Danielle in chat, but I haven't really looked through all of chat, right? Nope, don't see her. And then the other one is Buried Bits, who was just, I made a notice of that because I didn't recognize his name, and he spoke up in chat. And welcome, Buried Bits. Hope to hear more from you. He's speculating that the data sheet might provide information regarding something that was in question yesterday. I don't recall what that was about right now. All right. Am I ready to get out? Oh, Danielle says, no audio problems with my DAC for the past day. Maybe she needs to go still longer to determine if that did solve the problem. Changing a USB charger, wow, that's an inexpensive fix. That's awesome if that is the fix. Take a look, Danielle, take a look at, now the first AC adapter that you were using, take a look at the volts and amps output of it and check the volt amps input requirement of your DAC device and see if that matches, because and it should be on a label, physical label on the device. Maybe you had picked up a charger that wasn't quite the right power level for it. That would be interesting to know. Or it could just be, marginally defective. Yeah, Lawn Dog saying that too. Make sure it has enough current and voltage. The way you do that is look at the AC adapter itself. It has an output, voltage and amps. And then look at your DAC and see what it says for voltage and amps input requirement. That would be really great to have that as the answer. Yes, to say that's just marginally defective, that's kind of just a deduction or a, not quite as clear and solid of a diagnosis, but that might be all we have. Did I have anything else to do? Well, I had a bunch of other things lined up to talk about. Is there anything that I'm going to kick myself if I don't cover? Yeah, I don't think so. All right. So, here you can click on this video to see how to get free support through this channel, and you can click on this video, watch it to see how to get paid support. But these are all short videos. You can see here how to increase your troubleshooting experience on this channel. This one down here is a longer video. It's one that YouTube thinks would be good for you to watch next. Have a great day. Catch you later.